Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and when we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty interesting show for you guys, but before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, as you guys know, the story is out there is that the big story that broke about a week or so ago is that Shannon Sharpe will be leaving Undisputed. A myriad of publications covered this. I'm even reading from one here. Bleacher Report says Shannon Sharpe set to leave FS1's Undisputed after contract buyout. Pro Football Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe is set to leave FS1 Undisputed per Ryan of the New York Post. Sharpe has reached an agreement on a contract buyout with Fox Sports, and his final appearance on the daily sports talk show is expected to air after the conclusion of the NBA Finals. As a part of the buyout agreement, Sharpe's Club Shay Shay podcast will also cease to be a part of Fox Sports. Sharpe and Skip Bayless have been on Undisputed since the show launched in September of 2016. While the format of the show is for Shannon Sharpe and Bayless to argue key sports topics of the day, there have been some recent moments when it seemed like things were crossing the line. On December 12th episode, Sharpe seemed to take exception when Skip made an offhanded comment about Tom Brady's playing at the age of 45 and the former tight end retired, and that the former tight end retired at 35 years old. That's what you do, Shannon responded. Every time I call out something, call something into question, I get it. I did what I did. You make it seem like I was a bum. I'm in the effing Hall of Fame. I got 3 Super Bowls. And then it just, and then the article continues on. So we all know the backstory about all of this. So we know this. But why are we producing this show today? Well, ever since the news dropped, we've all kind of just been watching Skip and Shannon Sharpe with a box of popcorn in our hand. Why? Because ever since we found out that Shannon Sharpe, in fact, was going to be leaving the show, ever since we found out that Shannon Sharpe was liking various tweets saying that Skip was jealous of him, etc., 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 all of us were curious to see how these two gentlemen were going to interact on television, right? And basically, they are, quote unquote, being professional, but we all know that the love is lost, because if the love was there, Shannon wouldn't want to be there anymore, right? So it's been kind of, interesting to see these two gentlemen on TV, knowing that this thing is coming to a conclusion. And it basically seems like both of these guys are just up there essentially acting. So we know this. Now, if you paid attention to that article, it said what? That Shannon Sharpe time with this show will come to a conclusion at the end of the NBA Finals. Well, today is Monday, June 12th. And today is the 5th game of the NBA Finals. That's going to be hosted by the Denver Nuggets in Denver, Colorado, where they host the Miami Heat. If you're unaware, the Denver Nuggets are currently up 3-1. And a lot of us are assuming that this series is going to come to a conclusion tonight, which means that this could possibly be the last week we see Shannon Sharpe on Undisputed, because all of the sources reported that he's going to be with this show until the end of until the conclusion of the NBA Finals, which means that potentially this can be Shannon Sharpe's final week. Now, if you paid attention to the title, we said the truth about the final episode between. Here's the truth. The truth was this: when Skip left ESPN First Take, he left that show due to financial reasons. It had nothing to do with him and Stephen A. Smith not getting along. As you guys know, they had great chemistry. They still are great friends, even though they had a public spat a number of months ago over the success of the show. But Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith had great chemistry together, right? They consider each other brothers. So when they left the show, it had nothing to do with their relationship. It was all monetary. They didn't want to give Skip Bayless the money that he wanted. Then Skip Bayless headed over to FS1, and there were various debate partners that the network was looking at to kind of bring into the debate Skip Bayless on a daily basis. But Skip Bayless pushed for Shannon Sharpe. He said he believed that Shannon Sharpe would have been the right guy for the job. And Shannon Sharpe alluded to this on various interviews that he did, like on Up on Smoke podcast, where he said that Skip Bayless was the one that vouched for him to get that seat. He also said that Skip was the one that came up with the idea for him to do his own thing, which is with the Club Shay Shay. So when the show started, they started off really well. They were talking, I think there was time with the George Floyd thing. Then There was a Colin Kaepernick thing that was happening then there was a Capitol riots thing that was happening then, and then the Last Dance. So there was this long history between Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe on television, and they had a lot of high moments. Watching Undisputed over those years, man, I never knew Shannon Sharpe was that funny. Found out that this guy was absolutely hilarious. They seemed like they have they seemed like they had great chemistry. They played well off each other. So to see how things deteriorated to this point where these two guys that started on TV so friendly, so jovial with one another, to see how their relationship really deteriorated this year at the top of the year with the Damar Hamlin situation. We all saw that, when Shannon just didn't come to work, and then there was a blow up between them there. Then, of course, the Tom Brady thing, that you had people outside saying that, Skip is really disrespecting Shannon. I just wonder how it all got to this point, because here you have two gentlemen that are very successful on a television show. They're making millions of dollars doing this show. I think we can all agree that Undisputed catapulted Shannon Sharpe into a different stratosphere in terms of popularity, although he's a 3-time Super Bowl winner, Super Bowl champion. He is in the Hall of Fame, but there are a lot of players in the Hall of Fame right now that no one is talking about. This show made Shannon Sharpe very, very relevant. There's no way he could have done a show like Club Shay Shay without being on Undisputed, just because of the platform that it gave him, right? So a lot of good things have happened between these two people, and to see it kind of come to an ending like this, which seemed to be, quite honest with you, abrupt, and it seemed like Shannon just reached his final straw, and Skip Bayless seemed to be very, very rigid in his positions in terms of sharing the responsibilities on the show of coming up with various topics. It's very sad. But you know what? This is not the first time we're seeing this. This always happens anyway. There's so many successful kind of stories, so many stories out there of successful people that when they were broke, they were the best of friends. And then when money came in, all of a sudden they broke up. But in this case, I think it had more so to do with egos than money. It was just egos. And to me, I think there was probably some insecurity on Skip's side, because Skip Bayless was the A side. He was getting paid like the A side. On the daily operations, he was performing as the A side, coming up with topics and stuff like that, having a final say, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And here's what I honestly think. I think Shannon Sharpe would have stayed on that show if Skip Bayless never disrespected him the way he did. I'm being honest with you. I think Shannon Sharpe would have stayed if Skip wouldn't have disrespected him on those various occasions. I think he would have stayed. You know why? Because Shannon was gaining a lot on that show, at least at that time. Number one, you were gaining a lot of visibility, and a tremendous amount of visibility is one of the reasons Pat McAfee is agreeing to go to ESPN for less money but for more visibility, right? So he was gaining a lot of visibility. It was really, really helping his show. And now to hear that he's no longer going to be a part of FS1 and his show is no longer going to be part of Fox Sports. If you guys didn't know, they were producing that show, one of the Fox lots. So it's sad to see it come to an end. I doubt the person that they're going to replace him with is going to be as good as Shannon Sharpe. And here's the crazy part, man. We could see Shannon Sharpe's replacement possibly this week. If those reports are true. Now, they may do 1 or 2 more segments, 1 or 2 more shows, but we could be seeing a new face on Undisputed, right? So it's really, really, really surprising to hear. Usually shows that fail, they fail because of ratings. But to see this show fail because these two guys just couldn't work together, it's pretty sad to see, but hey, it was a good run. It was a good run while it lasted. So the question to the audience is this. Number one, do you think Shannon Sharpe will be able to go on to do bigger and better things? Number two, do you think Skip Bayless and whoever he replaces Shannon Sharpe with, do you think they're going to be able to take the show to the next level, or at least keep it where it is? Or do you think that there's going to be a steady decline? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section, and we catch you on the next show. Peace.